Welcome to the new episode of Design TV. My guests today are Sven Sorić, the curator of the exhibition, Studio Permanent, and actually the designer from Studio Permanent and the founder of the studio, Nita Salihu Hoxha. And actually the reason why I'm speaking English right now and will continue that way for the next hour or so is because of Nita, so that we can understand each other very much. As usual, we're going to show you lots of great design, in this case beautifully designed books and publications, posters, all kinds of paper printed material. But Sven, I think it's time for you to take over just a bit to give us a bit of a context.
Thanks. This exhibition is the first exhibition of a Kosovo designer in Croatia, in Zagreb. So it's like first. We have another record in HDD. And the most interesting part about this exhibition is if you see this huge production with like large consistency and quality, that Studio Permanent has been only existing for 6 years up to this moment. And what fascinates me is really how in such a short period, such a large production of great, consistent, high quality design appeared or was managed to be made. So my first question would be for you, can you kind of put it in the context of time? What were you doing before? What the scene in Kosovo is like? Because we all know about Kosovo from the news, from the bad news, but a little bit less people know that Kosovo has a great, vibrant, interesting art scene, and a lot of things are happening. So,
yeah. Thank you, Sven. Thank you for calling, and thank you for everything. Yes, what you said is really true, and but this is only the part that you hear from television and radio about Kosovo. But the other way, we have the Ministry of Culture that they give funds to artists and to organizations to do this kind of project. So, and we have the galleries that have a lot of like the program for a whole year. So yeah, this is maybe one thing that we do. Otherwise, I am a co-founder of Redo Pristina that we usually organize for 3 days during a year. And we call graphic designers for all the world. And we almost they share with us everything. So it's nice to be in a good point to just maybe involve and to invest on ourselves as a study, short study.
And you, before starting Studio Permanent, you were working in agencies long. So how come you shifted from such a secure environment of like steady pay and not being worried about management to this like self-propelled entrepreneurship?
Because maybe I study visual arts and focus on graphic design. That was a part of me that during because I start so early. I start when I was 18, going from studio to studio, and they were on the time only communication or advertising agency, not a studio, so they work only with artists, or this didn't happen. And what I did, I started just working a lot and maybe learn about programs and how to deliver, but not that I enjoy this process. And when it was so long time, 16 years, so I finished the study. I was having at that time that I came here, I saw your academy, that was the exhibition of fine arts was very good, but with a very nice, very good quality. So yes, this was maybe I start visiting some artists on the time. We went to Venice, so we saw different things, and was this a bit shock for me when you go to Paris and to see different, and you come again to at home and see that they are just focused on advertising, coffee, food, everything, and like mobile phones and this. And then I just was a long time, 16 years, to take me and to say, okay, stop. I want to enjoy myself. So I was thinking what to do, how can I go, but the first question was for me, what do I want to do? So what I want to, how I can be a process of the work that I will enjoy the whole content, not only to deliver that clients or artists would like, but so I can push it and be part of the process of research and yeah.
And you started the
Studio permanent.
Started the studio. It actually kicked off with two interesting projects that were your first projects in the studio. So we're standing here next to this interesting poster. So
yeah, so this was my first call. So I can do visual identity for. I can do the visual identity for Venice Biennale for Nita Salihu Hoxha, which is architect. And then I heard about her concept, and it was interesting because on the time Elmira was doing the Reconciliation of Blood Faiths campaign, and she asked me to do an exhibition, visual identity for exhibition. So on the same time, I was thinking about this project and this project. So I focused to this one first, and so we can deliver and continue with the other one. So I was alone at the time. So from that, I was starting asking for new graphic designer to come, and I continued. But this process to do this was, so I was for the first time doing not only designing, so I can deliver the work, but I was reading the text, the concept, because it was with satellite during the time. The city is everywhere. So it was for live during 90s that we just watched the satellite. So we were stuck in our places and our home or outside the home, not outside the state. So this was the cut that I did, and then the book was processed. The book and the signages for exhibition, the posters, and everything. So
actually the whole
the
and
whole
the
is
book
the satellite.
is a silhouette of a satellite dish, which was like an important
satellite,
window into life in the 90s. And can you tell us something about the reception of that design when you started your own practice? How did
how people reacted to it?
How people reacted to this?
At first something. They immediately said that, oh, you went to the different, because I did some cuts inside, and I tried to just proceed everything that is going on, you know, because this is how the building looks like, and this maybe is like a nostalgic for this time when we see it. And yeah, people, yes, everyone was touching. Before, from outside, nobody knows, but then they said, oh, it's good quality, it's different, it's with small books, because when I had content, this kind of books came later. So I found that they just sent me, this is from this is from Linda, this is from the other there. So I put as a inserts, yes.
Kind of guides you to
guides,
the book.
Yes, because
it
she
gives you
talks
an idea where you are.
Because this was about the protest of women on the time, and then this was for the Heritage School, which was my school, Heritage School that we learn at home, and like schoolhouses. And yeah, we have different kind of about graffiti and Yeah,
we
this
can
was
see this kind of approach in many of the other books. There, you know, the smaller
Yes.
book inside a bigger book,
Yeah.
the switch in the choice of paper, each part is printed differently, and it's quite a tricky process. Sometimes, you know, you have to really take care of that and be put a lot of faith in the printer, in all the people who are involved. So how much of a challenge is that?
It's so challenging because when I went for the first time to the printing and I asked them, can you send me because I worked for 16 years, so I was just knowing the printing house on the time. So I asked for them to give me different papers. So I start in my studio blank papers. And with the cutting papers, I do alone in the studio. I tried to change format. Then I asked them, oh, what kind of paper you will print the book? So they say B1, and then I was trying how many pages will be, so I can change then different format for the other papers, you know. So I talk all the time with them till we came up to this, and then to paint
The edges.
And so we try to do, and it was so good that they were open to try and to do. So in the way we were part of the process, so we were in the middle of everywhere. So it's not that I need only the printer, I was with creator talking about how I think, what is good, but it's so good when someone is saying, oh, I understand you, you continue your job and you are free to do, because they were trust in me, so it is important.
I have a question about the poster, because this has two sides, one with the text and, you know, the credits and everything, and of course the front side. Did you actually put these posters in the street? Were they used for advertising an event? It was just, you know, to document it? And
yes, we shared like roles, and everyone, I don't have maybe only one in studio that left, because everyone was taken. Someone is putting at home, someone is, we went like, we don't have any place to put, like in Pristina, because they remove. Or they from the bars, in the bars, or it's like restaurants, galleries, so they had.
Yeah, because all the posters with perforations, with, you know, the holes in them, there's, you know, every once in a while you see at least one of those, and usually the idea behind is not necessarily the satellite dish, but the idea is usually to appropriate what is behind it. So we had in Croatia like 2 or 3 very interesting examples of that, but the idea behind them was, you know, when you post this in the street, what remains behind the hole becomes kind of a content, like you know, an accidentally turned on TV program or something like that. So this was not the case here. But it, you know. Sometimes
you don't have you. You are the blank wall.
I read it more as a literal window to the world, because the satellite dish back in the 90s was their window, viewfinder.
The television was our window to go out.
So let's move to the next project. It's also from 2018, but there's lots of color here.
Now this is 2023, and this was this one. Yes, Ermira did the interview with why I put this two together, because they are the same generation of artists, and this has like my professor Shusrinimani, and there are like different. You can see maybe in the end they have their work. So, and to it, like, so they are the same generation. Like this was Agim Rude, the sculpture, and then Ermira did the interview with them. So in the end we did, Salihu Hoxha, the paintings, and then this is Lenin Luja, and this was the poster from my professor Shushinimani in 1974 that he did. And this Tomislav Trivic. And the last one, Cevdet Jafar.
Yeah. There's like 6 pages of works and hundreds of pages of discourse. We like it. And it's a very strange, unusual layout, actually. Is there an idea behind that?
It's to put the two language and a lot of footnotes. So on that time, I was saying, oh, I will do like this so people will read and just maybe someone want to read different, and they are on the same, like you have Albanian and Albanian English, like this part is in English and this in Albanian. Yes, because sometimes you will have more, like it depends. And and Nusrat too, like is that generation. So here was an exhibition in Pristina in Gallery of Ministry, and here is the old content of work, because on the time they didn't expose all the work, but when they send me like an archive, so we will find only maybe 10 or 12 works to put on the catalog. I was so amazed with his work. So it's from 1950, and then I did like arrangement for all his work, like.
And how do you manage to persuade somebody who wants to publish a small catalog with 12 works to end up with such a large book
and
with like
then
hundreds
I asked because he's not anymore, that he's like, it was important because nobody has all the work, because something has gallery, something his family, and all the way, and I was asking, should I maybe put all his work? So we at least know what he has as an archive. So maybe if someone or
why not use
the museum, the chance, for 100 pages. If we print 200, why plus 100? And they were, yes, so let's go do that. So I try to put all the paintings in the real size with a little cut. So all of exhibition, I don't use only for catalog. For publication, it's more like visual identity, the signages, the posters, and this is the language for each of project to do, like mapping or to put the text on the wall and this kind of.
It's important to say, although we're talking mostly about books today, that these books don't come just as books as one thing, because they're a part of larger projects. For example, this another design for the Venice Biennale of Architecture. So it's not only the book, but it encapsulates research, whole visual identity. Can you tell us something about how the process goes?
Yes, we started this project 2020. So when we start, we didn't know if we will continue or we will stop because of the COVID. And so I started doing the concept and send, because we were working on her, but again, stop. And so this project continued for maybe 2 years on that time, because we applied, of course, we went in Venice to 2021. And contemporary was curator and author Maksud Bezgishe. So he called me and said, I will have an idea for my installation that was container. And he sent me all the concept, and then I tried to to process on a way with researching and checking what can I do. And then, because it was more like about the recycle and about the different technique, I try maybe to do my best with the poster, and then to start working on the book on the same time and about signages. And then immediately I went to the printing house that wasn't delivering a very good job. So I try then to say, okay, what are you doing the best way, you know? And they said, but we have this kind of mesh that they print. And so I asked, okay, can you print us the poster in mesh so we can have and we can check, because I did small posters and the quality was different from the big posters. And then we removed the smallest one, so we continue with this kind to have in a way different approach of
so it was hacking, not being angry on the printer, but asking them, what do you do best?
What do you do best? Sometimes it's better just to ask and then we try, but in the end I love this one that is black and blue because again it's readable. So as a process, the book was sent me a lot of people who were doing project with recycled paper or an idea of how to apply in clothes with fashion, with everything. So he asked different artists to collect all the project and the content, and this is the publication as a brick. Because was an architect, yes. So I was thinking maybe should be like small as a content,
compact,
but then it was more compact.
Although it was not my first association. I mean, it is the most logical, most obvious, but it also looks like a holy book, like a religious book, like Quran or Bible or something like that. Also, I have one copy here, and then there is another here. And this one is painted on the edges. But so it's basically the same.
I asked them because now it wasn't the same printing house, and it was for me the first time that I worked with them. And they said, "Oh no, this will not work. You will see." But then they just did, and I wasn't sure if the paper will be damaged from the colors. So I tried not to finish everything, and I stopped the process saying, no, stop, continue without. But everyone wants the blue one. In the end, everyone was saying, you don't have, at least the whole team that worked in Pavilion of Republic on that time, the contemporary, everyone wants to be, so we did all to have this kind of
It's interesting when you look at it. First of all, it's really impressive to see so much work done in 5 years or so. And the second thing is that when you look at them, all the formats, all the different kinds of layouts, the different uses of paper and color, and the materials that were done, it really looks like it's not like you're going to do a book and then it's just a book, but it's designed from scratch. Each time, depending on the context, you're rethinking of, the idea of how that object is going to look like. What's its form, what's its size, every, every material aspect of it. Even now we've only seen like 4 books, but it continues. Each example is quite different, like from another planet.
Yes. Because of what I do is so much communication in the whole process, and then I engage myself with my idea of that during we talk, and then sleep a bit, and then come back to the concept. But sometimes it's very short time, like when you need to just talk with artist or with curator and get the point, when we just met, and then I try to read the concept and then to come with idea. It depends from the project.
And maybe one of the most interesting examples of how you approach books and the content, and how much you actually try to dive into the research and give your energy to help the publication become better, are these 3 books we see here, which is actually one book.
Yes.
Which is they were published as a part of the manifesto, which was held in Pristina in 22. And can you tell us why do the books look like that? Which problem you had with the material and how you managed to overcome?
It was at first, when Manifesta came in Pristina, we were working like for monthly, like with them, and then they said we would like to work with you on publishing too. So we will have you will have to work with subculture that we are doing for 2 years research. And I was very happy because I was saying, oh my, I will have all the database so I can create something interesting. But then they said, send me the file that was only the content as a text, not the images, nothing. And then I was saying, but why we don't have, and because the researchers didn't research other visual material like photos or different videos, or so we can have the screenshots or something. And then I asked them, no, we need to have at least, because we cannot going only with illustration for the books, all books. So to change this context, just to have the text and illustration that we start in this book. So of course I lay out first and send to them and send, okay, I will do, because on that time I was with the team with Urtina and Elvira. So I ask them, I will lay out and you do illustration, you do graphics, and I will do collage. So we will have 3 different approaches on the same layout that will be in the grid on the same thing for each of books. So we will play with graphics on top of that. And then the illustration, the images came because Rina Krasnici was doing the research and called people who was having places, because here in subculture talk about different organization, that different bars that was on the time, different galleries, small galleries, the activities that happened on the time.
And it's 3 books about 3 towns, actually.
3 towns, like Pristina, Tirana and Skopje. So yes, this was very, in the end, was very nice publication. Everyone was so happy, and I was too, because I was free again in the process, so I wasn't limited myself.
When I first got the books in 2020, those were the first books I saw physically from your production, and I was amazed how in such a small format with relatively, cheap conditions of paper and print, you managed to get out the maximum of it by not only by the concept of like 3 different kinds of approaches to the same layout in the same book, but also by the richness of the visual language you managed to produce. It somehow reminded me of old fanzines that were done, like some very fauvistic drawings, collages, and it kind of brought back the approach somehow.
So yes, all the images are from internet, because they couldn't find images, so I went. It's not that we did only the layout and graphics and this. I researched so much, so I took all the photos from internet, and of course credit the internet, the Google,
the whole
that
internet
helped us. So yes, was the cut, and yes, I play like with all the material I could find.
And each of the books actually uses a completely different approach to illustration. These are cuts from photos. This is kind of some
graphic,
strange
and this
edges.
from So this was the idea to do. This was the concept that I thought will play and will be better presentation. And then yes, we have different approach with more research, more hard work, because sometimes when you have information that are maybe not that I can play so much, or this is about research with breakout. And here Ermira Krasnici was working on this one. So this publication was made like an interview with 2 of
people who escaped prison.
Yes.
And it's like my favorite part about this book is when you look at the documentation, like the police records.
Yes.
You have captions in Serbian that tell about what happened and how they broke out. So you didn't need to use captions for photos because the police records already had these captions.
The window that they cut it.
Yeah.
They are the tools that they try to escape. So this is a research about food that Jeton Jakđiju and Faisal Demiray, the chef, did. And they came to us and say that we are researching for 2 years about the food, about the product of part of Dugajini. You will have a map in the and what they found in different places of Dugajine. Yes. So this was the process. So we will find here. So there are different, and we saw they asked us, can you make a map so we will know where we found what, like cheese and where the food, what kind of food they are making, that are like, because we don't have for food like a research or something, but now only they found the best, like cheese, the milk, and this.
But it's a typographic map, so
yes.
Nice.
So it's just for designers.
Just for designers. But it's
like a Dejan or Peja, and you see what is going there, like about onions and this,
a map and infographic at the same time, which you locate stuff in space, but also like in context, what belongs to where.
So here was more about each of place, and so what they did for drinks, for different kind of.
It makes me.
And what can you do
for lunch?
Yeah,
it's really.
Yes.
Now I'm hungry.
So yes, we scan a lot of products. We scan those and then apply to the graphics, like mushrooms, where to find, and this.
Immediately it looks like a cookbook, but the cookbook from the old times.
Plus, I tested with this too, because they didn't have the kind of textile cover, so this is like a canvas where the painting. So we tried to print the canvas and.
So again, hacking
the process.
The printer.
Yeah, usually we say, can you bind with this kind of colors and that? And yes.
Who are these two girls actually, and what is this about?
This is about reconciliation of blood feuds campaign in 1991. And these two girls, on the time that it's happening, everything, Ermir Krasniqi did all the research, and it was interesting because the two girls started, they asked his professor, because all the families was having problem with this who during that time. So it was interesting, like this was part of exhibition that I told you in 2018, but this publication was last year finishing. So we did all the, maybe what we did is that we collect all the information that Ermira did, the research, the pictures, timeline, what happened, where, and then these two girls organize everything through, like, to have this meeting on, there are different places that meet to each other and say, I'm sorry, and so
to stop killing each other.
And it's the year when they started doing in 90s. You see the events that they were doing, like as a timeline. and who said where was all this campaign like. And here are some interviews. And yes, exhibition in Peja, that was
the documentation,
of the exhibition. And this, the same exhibition was again not in Peja, only in Peja. This was in this in 39th EVA International, where was the country?
So the exhibition traveled, actually.
Traveled,
yeah.
Yes.
But from a similar time, we have another book about research, which is
a site of political struggle, Chapter 9.
Yeah, the big
miners.
Everybody from Yugoslavia knows what it is, but this book has some really nice details, not only about the context of the political side, but also you have some kind of a small intro about the technological side of mining.
Yes, because I saw at first when Ermira sent me all the content, I saw the map and how they work. So they have like, they remove all the stones and everything for 2 meters so they can work. And
it's actually this graphic.
Yeah, so was part of exhibition. I did exactly on the floor for exhibition as part of signages. Yes, is maybe inside here are the documents.
It's you reinterpreted this technical documentation into these.
Yes, this was my inspiration. That's that, yeah.
Into the exhibition signage, and of course you.
Yeah, we illustrate from photos from old publishing that wasn't so pixelated, so everything is illustrating exactly how it is in the book.
Yeah. But you took it and redid
and tried to do
graphics.
Exactly like how it was in the book.
And the book has a feeling of an old folder for like blueprints and technical documentation, just like raw paper and the binding.
Only this without complicating as a minor. Yeah. And through research, you can see that at first you have the colors, all the pictures are color, and then when everything started, like it's on the black way, because this was the last pictures maybe in color, and then everything was from newspaper, as I saw from magazine, from newspaper, from people who they give to Ermira as their collection, that from their archive, some from television.
And this is maybe the most striking picture.
The guy that is sleeping on the back.
This brings us to
more to the artist table.
To the art table, which where we could ask you actually about an interesting topic, which is that when you design a poster for an exhibition, like for example these, that you actually reinterpret the posters as a huge catalog, as a newspaper.
Yes, because usually the catalog is coming in the end of the exhibition or sometimes after the closing. And for that,
real book,
the real catalog. So what I do is so people can read, and they usually want to put, people want the poster. Right now in Pristina, everyone loves the poster, so what I did is to present maybe and was maybe almost the real size of work that Lucian did. Lucian was the creator of this exhibition, and Lucian is the same director of Marubi Museum. So he came to create the exhibition in Gallery of Ministry, and I said, okay, we will not have catalog immediately because I was going to ask him about all the content and what he wants to have. And then, yes, was like this one. So he wanted to have like all, because he found a way how the Pietro Marubi, that was old photographer that is now the museum called Marubi because of him. And he found a way to find the garden where he do all the shooting, and it's the same place. Like you can follow from here the door, and then the wood, and then the other window, the door that is continuing here and here, you see?
So
and
it's
the garden, the same place.
Panorama
only,
of the
yes,
garden.
You can see all the buildings like this. And see where he did all the shootings, like.
What happens when the printer says, no, we cannot do it, or we don't want to do it?
Okay, was Nuki, this catalog that Marko is hanging right now, is a project when they said that I saw all the Nurhan Chehoya, an artist, that he do all the sketching on netbook and then do the work. So what I did here, I present her notebook that she was working on her to create his her like big approach on project. So when I did that, I saw from her cover of the notebook like was with the foil with the sticker. So I asked them, can you make it like happen like foil that is like this one? They said no. So I asked an artist, can you cut it so we can just help her and put one by one? So we did the same like alone. So we continue with the process that
each one
they didn't
is unique,
finish.
Just like the books inside.
Yes, inside.
And this
so
is probably the actual format of each of the notebooks that were used by the artist.
Yeah. And then what she did, for this exhibition, she worked after with the big one, inspired from the small one book, like from sketches. So, and this was the same with Gens, because they didn't have this, they printed, but to arrive, like to have this abstract print, it was so hard from them, so I did to them, okay, printed the poster only black, so we can then have an intervention. So we did 300, me and Lira and Leonita, my team, we did all along 300 poster with a different spray.
Different color, a different pattern.
Because his concept was for the first time like more abstract on his paintings. So I tried to come up with the same idea.
So you work a lot with artists. We covered this research, architecture, and curatorial part, and now comes the fun part, where you actually can do books for artists with amazing material, great illustrations, and you can actually see how vibrant the art scene in Kosovo is. And how do you start? How do you dive into these projects? I mean, all these books are really beautiful, not only with the content, but also with the attention to detail and the way you, as we have seen on that catalog, you reinterpret somebody's work.
Yeah, sometimes it comes from artists, but then gallery of ministry that they call me for maybe 3 years or more, that they say, hey, we will have exhibition, we love, so you can continue our project that we like just do for artists. But I have maybe I have a lot of artists on the same generation like me, so sometimes they call me directly, it depends how. And yeah, it was sometimes I want to do like that I have one template of the format, but when I do the research and talk with artists and curators, sometimes I move a bit
Out of
forward,
the,
out
yeah.
of the box. That I usually try to have one cut, but should be the cover cut or inside the cut. So I continue, and it's very nice to see here that we have so much artists that they are trying to work so hard, and so they can be on scene, you know.
And actually, in this book Marko is holding, we can find you also.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Facebook profile picture.
Yes.
Yes.
Rina did the Rina Krasnici. This is the
here.
and Erzan will come later.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
So you can compare.
Yes.
Was it this one? Yes.
Yes. This is the one.
And
A lot of people from Pristina. Everyone is like more images, illustration, nostalgic
Yeah, it's
places.
interesting. It almost looks like, because there's, all of the text is put here. So the rest of the book is like film editing. It's drawings, sometimes blown up. Sometimes there's kind of these breaks that kind of make a strange dynamic to the book, and then you go back to the big ones, and then the layout does these things, for example. It's almost like watching a movie, an animated feature, and then another break.
Yes, because now when I saw her work and was two kind of only flowers and only illustration with a black pen, and then I said, let's make like this as a short jumping pieces, so will be different model.
yeah, so actually you're not only designing,
Design,
let's say, but
creating the book.
you somehow try to involve a different dynamic into the reading and into the narration of all the books. And while we're talking about narration, there's such a nice intervention in this book, a nice concept about this
Woman.
this Norwegian woman who lived all over the world and did some beautiful things, and this is kind of a testimonial of her life. And when we read the books, you can actually see whatever she's saying, thinking or writing is printed in green.
Yes, I made the green typeface for when it's her voice, and the interview that all the people that was a part of organization, that they did everything during the war in different states, and I was part of Post Pessimist after the war, so it was very good to work with Rina Mehta, and Petrit initiated this project, so because he was organizing everything before the war for Post Pessimist, and then continues. So here are the different story for almost now, maybe from 2020 I start, and we finished last year this publication.
But let's go to the geeky part of design now. I know.
I'm going to leave now.
Geeky.
I know that some people will like it. The choice of typefaces, it's a thing I have to talk about because it's the first tool we all use when we're designing. What intrigued me about your design when I first saw it online is that somehow you have millions and millions and millions of typefaces in the world, produced every day, but still you have maybe, I don't know, 20 or 50 that are actually really good and usable and have a character, but also are not too striking or not, are not just shapes but have a meaning. So I see this Larish by Radim Peško, and I used it also. Lana Grahic used it. I know a lot of good designers who choose his typefaces or typefaces by Linetto. So can you tell me, like, how do you decide what to take? And like sometimes you repeat them, sometimes you don't. So is there a kind of a process behind it?
Yeah, it was for the first time when I saw Radim Peshko doing, because we call him Furidu, when Bardi was creating our program, and he's still creating. And it was my first time when I heard him talking about the typefaces. So it's not that I just take them online and find, but I invest. I want to buy typefaces so they can work more, do more. So, and when I saw this more with serif, so I try to just maybe depend from the work. It's not that only Laresh is working, but still my handwritten that I try to do by myself. And it's, yes, sometimes it's the process, it depends from the project. Sometimes I love just to stay in one typeface, but it depends the project. Or it's the mood that
the voice you set,
voice,
and
yes.
how the first visual interaction with the reader is. But somehow it's interesting to me also that sometimes it's not that important, the typeface. It's like very silent. For example, in this book, it could be set in any typeface, but
yeah, this book was more like a artist work,
For most
because
people, there's no
this
typeface.
is
no, but how when you come to the text, that the text is all like very, very carefully treated. It's not just
not too expressive.
yes.
Just
Here the language, the voice of artist was different. So she talk in Albania, then continue in French, and because she's living in Switzerland, in French part, and then she talk in English. So I did the paragraph. So I will say left paragraph for one language, center for this language, and left right paragraph for this language. And then this was for her archive. With that is part of the diary that she talks about the culture, and of course.
And how do you approach the choice of format? Because here we see like
it's more diary,
abundance.
so it was all.
In general, to your books.
It depends from the work. What I do is when I have the big paintings, I want to see them big. Because if we take a picture of artwork, so I usually try to explain that if the work has more detail, to be maybe bigger, so it is small, and when you don't have much quality and they cannot produce to have a photo shoot, to invest in all of this, I just skip to the small format, of course. It depends, because this book was made during the COVID, that people apply with photos from their home with hashtag Pristina home. So during COVID, everyone was saying, so this has maybe all of them are from phones. So I usually edit, and it's a lot of time that we clean and try to edit everything and to
make it to work in print.
Yes, in print. So we wanted to have this kind of big with image and to play with different, so we can see Pristina on that time, what it happened. And for the empty everything, and yeah.
Yeah, along with COVID come some other very heavy topics. For example, this book that Marko is holding now.
This is the list of the children who have been
Yes,
killed during the
yeah,
conflict.
and killed and
99.
missing. Yes, and it was the hardest project that I worked after two other, because this was 2019, yes, as I know, and it was so hard. So for me, what I did, Mira my daughter was 1 year old, so I was thinking what to do, and then they sent me the picture of all the kids who are missing, and I was shocked. And when you have kids, it's different. So I was going through hard time on that because I see the like toys and stuff. So it was very hard for this project. Was mostly so I saw Mira that she was illustrating. I was working at home. And then I took her illustration, what she did, so I wasn't afraid that I will lose if the posters are on the floor or so everywhere, because I didn't bring here the posters are all with illustration, but I applied here what she did.
So your
So I just took it and scanned. Yes,
yeah.
I credit her.
Yeah.
Did you pay?
I credit her. Maybe later she will. Yes. Yeah.
So it's kind of children
yes,
giving back to children.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when the organization saw, they were so happy that we came with this idea, because I couldn't take any of the pictures. And yeah.
And I mean, since you always work for somebody else, and it's of course a pleasure to design beautiful stuff, but you said like, okay, I want to do something for myself. I want to do something with my friends.
Yes. Last year in December, Rina called me and said, hey, I have an idea. Let's do something for ourselves. Because I do for everyone, but I cannot sell and I cannot send somewhere because it's part of other publishing. So we did this story. So we called Tadi, Rina, Tadi and me. So we did this maybe for 3 weeks intense, and we finished for the ferry to go to Tirana.
To art book fair.
Yes, art book ferry. So we just did this, and was like talk through friends and eat pizza and talk about music, talk about film, talk about best photos, talk about friends who is artists, and yes, this is the story. And then we credit all the people who is on that two girls are discussing.
That were mentioned.
Mentioned. So all the mentions, what they do, what is here.
Yeah, so we have the Tirana Art Book Fair, we have like Susan
about
Sondag,
punk,
Blondie,
yes,
NTS Radio, of course.
Yes. And this was like what we did. Sometimes it's good.
So what does the future bring you? Do you have any projects incoming? Who's coming to redo this year?
It was so good that you invited me to have this exhibition, so I can do now, because I was so tired and I was thinking, oh, when I'm going to stop and just to see what I did. I don't see myself what I am doing anymore, because I have everything there, but there are part of me, but I never shared what I'm doing. Because as a graphic designer, you are stuck on your studio and just working for 9 hours, and reflect. And this was maybe a reflection, so I can continue and do something maybe, because I'm just working now into project that I will go a publication about research that Ermira is doing with Dorontin Castrate for Biennale for this year, Biennale in Venice. So I will work on that, and I am doing the book with Lucian Bideni, which he was researching about the history of Pietro Marubi.
So another comeback to Marubi and another comeback to Venice, but this time not architecture, but the art Biennale.
For the first time, yeah. But I want it more.
Thank you, Nita.
Thank you.
It's been a wonderful time, and we've seen so many interesting things. We'd like to see more, but in our next meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks. I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.